Y'all remember this weirdo right here? Do you remember this weirdo right here? He was one of the goofies that escaped the New Orleans prison, and he had them weird ass charges about what he was doing with girls and all that weird stuff, and he was touching on girls and all that crazy stuff, right? Friday the 13th today, man. It's a scary day. They just gave him his ass 60 years without parole.
This article would state Antoine Massey sentenced to 60 years without parole for brutal kidnapping and rape of former girlfriend. Now I have to say grape and emphasize. District Attorney Colin Sims reports that on February 12, 2026, Antoine Massey was sentenced to a total of 60 years in prison by the Honorable Judge Alan M. Black. The sentencing follows Massey's December 2025 conviction by a unanimous St. Tammany Parish jury on charges of second-degree rape, second-degree kidnapping, domestic abuse of a dating partner by strangulation, and second offense violation of a protection order. The court ordered the sentences to be served as follows. Count 1, second-degree rape, 40 years.
Damn, he got 40 years just for that? Cooked his ass. Get his ass out of here. Call the popo, huh? Damn.
Count 2, second-degree kidnapping, 20 years to run consecutively to count 1, which means this is basically joint. So he's really just doing the 40. Count 3, battery of a dating partner involving strangulation, 3 years to run.
No, he's not really just doing the 40. He has that wrong. So if they run it consecutive to count 1, that means that he's doing 60. This is where he gets to 60 years. So when it says concurrently, that's when they're running it together. So if they run it consecutive, that basically, so okay, if you get 40 years and 20 years, I ain't in prison, but I know this. If you get 40 years and 20 years and they run it consecutively, that means you got to do your 40 and then you got to do your 20, which is 60. If you do 40 years, if you get 40 years for count 1 and 20 years for count 2 and they run it concurrently, that means you only got to do the 40 years.
Concurrently with count 1. In count 4, second offense violation of protective order, 2 years to run concurrently with. So if these things are running concurrently, I don't understand how it's 60 years unless I'm just retarded. In total,
because this is not, you're not reading this right, bro. It's consecutive. This is consecutive though. That's why he get 40-20, which is 60 years. These are concurrent, which is why it's all just 60.
Massey will serve 60 years hard labor.
Damn.
Without the benefit of parole,
60 years hard labor,
suspension of sentence.
That's slavery. A
lot of y'all don't know what hard labor means, so I'm gonna show y'all.
Yeah, what does that exactly mean though? Slavery sounds like to me.
Life at Angola prison isn't what you might imagine. The vast majority live just like this. More than 80 men in open dorms, sleeping on bunk beds.
This is similar to Florida. This is what you would call open bay dorms. It's just bunks all over the place.
Right.
This is
slavery.
Hard labor.
Labor. That's one of the many hot button issues in the mass incarceration debate.
Another day in the field.
I'm on my way out to the fields, riding on this truck.
I know they ain't got these niggas picking cotton.
Many of the men are convicted killers.
Crazy.
Including the one sitting on either side of me.
I'll be honest with y'all, this is the closest thing you're gonna see to like modern day slavery.
It's really no, it's fuck closest. It's no difference. It's no difference when y'all gotta do y'all, because it's Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta do our history today. You feel me? When Martin Luther King has entered the chat. Do your homework on Martin Luther King. I'm no longer Mac Mula. I'm speaking as Marco Luther King Jr. III. Now listen, when they made slavery illegal, when they abolished slavery, right? First thing they did was everything that a slave wouldn't have, a former slave wouldn't have. So let's say slavery was legal yesterday, today it's illegal. So then they're going to make everything that a slave wouldn't have, they're going to make that illegal. So then what do? Then that leads to a bunch of slaves getting locked up and going to jail because they don't have the things that you say they have to have because they were slaves yesterday. So when they went to jail, when they locked up the slaves for going to, for the shit that they was doing, they put them in jail. And when they put them in jail, that is basically legalized slavery. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like a difference. It's the same thing. They're forcing you to go and do this shit for hard labor for 60 years of your life straight until you die for free. You're not getting paid anything. If anything, they give you a 10 cent an hour. Shit, that's real. They give you a 10 cent an hour, and they make you go pick cotton or, you know, put together clothes or whatever. Or they might have you just doing real labor work that they need somebody. You basically like a lab rat. You see what I'm saying? And that's really all prison is legal slavery.
Best is prison work squads, especially just how Angola looks, because they ride around on horses and shit too, and shotguns. Like it's like going back in time in the deep south. The charges originated from violent hours-long attacks on November 10th, 2024. After discovering domestic violence paperwork in the victim's purse, Massey beat and strangled her before kidnapping her and driving her between Slidell and New Orleans.
So that's kidnapping.
Throughout the ordeal, Massey repeatedly assaulted and raped the victim. The abuse only ended when the victim managed to escape and flag down a stranger in New Orleans to contact the police department.
That's crazy.
During the sentencing hearing, Judge Black addressed Massey directly, highlighting the severity of his actions and his extensive prior record. Your criminal history is significant and started a long time ago. This crime here was over an extensive amount of hours. It was brutal and extreme violence. This all adds up to what the courts considers. The case was notable for the extensive digital evidence presented by the lead detective. Despite Massey's attempts to coerce the victim into recanting through jailhouse calls and an advocate's attempt to interfere with the victim's testimony in open court, prosecutors used license plate readers, Ring doorbell footage, and recorded calls to secure the conviction. So he was trying to get her not to testify. District Attorney praised the sentence as a vital step in protecting the community and honoring the victim's initial courage. Judge Black's imposition of the 60-year sentence ensures that a violent predator is removed from our streets for a very long time. Domestic violence is a cycle of fear and manipulation, but the meticulous work of our investigators and prosecutors provided a voice for the victim when she was most vulnerable.
So that's why he got 60 years, because it sound like she was. And he looked crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you, nigga. You got 3 chest pieces tattooed on your face, bro. You look fucking insane. But basically, so I think it said he found out that she was reporting him for domestic violence and pressing charges on him. So when he found that out, he beat her and strangled her, kidnapped her, forced her against her will to go wherever he took her. And during that time, he was repeatedly forcing himself on her. And that's why he got 60 years, because he's a fucking
different
asshole.
article here, right? And despite the guilty verdict, Massey has maintained his innocence, said one of his attorneys. We're disappointed, adding that Massey plans to take advantage of all his appellant rights. Meanwhile, but it says while testifying in December, the victim made it clear she did not want to be there and was found to be texting someone from the stand who had advocated for Massey. The court subsequently confiscated their phones. Collier said the victim, while testifying, had texted that she wanted to leave the courtroom, but the person she was texting with persuaded her not to do so. Partly based on that text exchange and a motion filed after the guilty verdict, Collier argued there should be a new trial. The judge denied that motion. Collier also noted the victim's testimony during trial that she had not been raped or kidnapped.
Damn, that's crazy.
The DA's office accused Massey of trying to coach the victim. Now, this article would also...
Now, this is what I be meaning when I say, like, niggas like Lil Durk and shit like that. Like, this is what I be meaning when I say, like, they cooked. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, bro, like, if they want you, they gonna get you, gang. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like, it don't matter what you think or what your lawyers say. At the end of the day, the judge and the people in the court have all the power. If they look at you and be like, I don't like how this nigga look, or I don't like his haircut, or I don't like how he talk, give his ass, he guilty, man. Give his ass. You see what I'm saying? The evidence don't really matter and shit like
Massey
that.
of trying to coach the victim. Now we can pretty much figure out they put together enough evidence to prove he did what he did. Even though the victim wanted nothing to do with the trial, lied about what took place, tried to take things back, etc., etc. They figured out that Massey was the one telling her to do so, this and that.
Right.
And the sad truth about domestic violence relationships is even though the abuse happens, the girl will still take the side of the man abusing her. It's part of the manipulation and toxic cycle of what is domestic violence. But This article would state
that's
New
her?
Orleans jail escapee Antoine Massey still on the run as police arrest his sister and girlfriend, his alleged abuse victim, for allegedly helping hide him. On Tuesday, Louisiana
That's
State
fucking
Police
insane,
confirmed
bro.
that Antoine Massey's sister, Deshanae Massey, was arrested for accessory after the fact in the New Orleans jail escape case. She was booked in jail. Deshanae's arrest brings the total number of people charged with assisting the escapees to at least 14.
Damn.
Additionally, according to NOLA.com, Antoine Massey's girlfriend, who remains unidentified as his alleged abuse victim, has been arrested as he remains on the run.
So she got arrested before him.
The 21-year-old woman is accused of acting as a principal
21.
to an aggravated escape and obstructing justice. She's only 21.
Yeah, I'm finna say, how old is he? Because he looked like he like 28. He's 32.
Well, Antoine Massey is 32, or he was at least 32 at the time of this happening.
And she's 21.
And she's only 21. And then this case happened, what, 2 years ago?
Yep. So that means
So-
he was probably fucking around with her when she was even younger than that. And that makes sense. That's why she's so manipulated. That's why she's helping him, even though, because she 9 times out of 10, she probably ain't had no mom and no dad, or she was in foster care or whatever. Cause that's what these weirdos do, bro. They wait. It's like weirdo niggas like that. They can smell a vulnerable ass woman. Like they can smell them. Just like them niggas in LA, them Hoover niggas. They was pimping out these girls, these young girls, and it's always the young girls who are runaways or who was in foster care or who didn't have no parents. It's always them young girls, and they like manipulate the fuck out of them, tweak them out, and then they grow up to be 21 and they whole head fried the fuck up to the point where they helping a nigga that, come on, gang.
Oh, this dude's dealing with like a 18, 19-year-old girl
And he was what, 30?
in his early 30s.
His late 20s?
And is found guilty of beating her, assaulting her, kidnapping her,
Yeah, that sounds about
and doing
right.
all these nasty things multiple times.
Story making sense more and
I'll
more.
be honest with you. I don't know what the politics are in Angola State Prison, but this dude is,
It's gonna be bad.
he's got nasty paperwork.
He got some nasty
He is
paperwork.
automatically an applicant for prison justice, and I'm sure y'all can understand what that means.
Right. Applicant.
And like I said, we don't wish anything bad on people on this channel, but if it happens, I'm gonna be one of the first to report on it. Guaranteed 60 years of hard labor for abusing a 21-year-old girl. Yeah, have fun in that field. Have fun in that hot ass field during the Louisiana summer.
Woo! I know
Enjoy
it's
yourself.
stank up in them
And if you
motherfuckers.
try to run, they got them officers, them COs on horses with rifles and shotties
Yep.
waiting for you. Cross the gun line. Ain't really too much else to say. There ain't
No.
really no advice I can give somebody, because if you're into that type of shit, you need to go where you're going. To be honest, you need to go there. And it's crazy because a lot of people were like rooting for this dude and some of the other guys.
Crazy, right?
It's like, oh, there's an escape. Are they gonna get away? Are they gonna da-da-da? You know what I mean? And
People was crazy, gang.
the sad reality of it is the majority of their ass need to be in there.